We all love to be innovative, and we in Taiwan, our company want to have our own global brand, a famous brand, and we want to be innovative and look for the future. However, in this island, okay, our roots is in cost efficiency. Okay, among all of us, we know how to do things efficiently and with less cost, and we know the term durable. We know how to make a reliable product. We only know how to improve our operation process. But how can we change our mindset or even operation process to the market-driven part? Would you please give us some advice and let us know how we can learn to be innovative? Our company's philosophy is cost efficiency. So,
cost efficiency has been successful. Okay. So, building on success is very important. And identifying other opportunities for success, also very important. Between those opportunities, the bridge from one success to the other allows to step up to a higher objective. But I think that the perspective of efficiency varies in terms of the global scope of what the competition is, and understanding the competitive forces, understanding, the efficiency in terms of use of human resources and ability to leverage one step to get to the next. And I think that in trying to go beyond, building on a strength to go beyond, it's important to deeply explore what that strength, the meaning of that strength. And so efficiency in its broadest sense may have a different meaning.
Then I should rephrase my question a little bit further, because at the end of your presentation, you mentioned the successful failure, right? When we talk about failure, we worry about the cost, right? So that's why when we focus on cost efficiency, we are afraid of
to eliminate
risk.
failure.
Yeah.
Failure is a successful failure. Means that you understand quickly what didn't work, can change that, share the knowledge so that the next person doesn't make the same mistake, and find a new partner to go forward with. The cost of not doing that is an opportunity cost that sometimes is much, much greater than the cost of learning through successful failure. I think we need another word for failure. Failure is not the right word, and maybe there is the word in Chinese that doesn't exist in English.
We call the failure is the mother of the success.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We know that, but we can hardly.
There's definitely successful failure. I'm one of them, okay? As a professor, I think you're a successful failure. What I mean by this is, and the same is true for any company. There is, of course, the process of learning quickly and changing it and so on, ultimately to be whatever successful. But I think the notion of successful failure is a really nice one, because I think in every product, in everything that you take to the market, there is a success element to it, if you do it well. And there's a failure to it, because you have to make choices. So the choice of being cost efficient was the right choice, I think, for Taiwan for a long, long time. To create a device that works, is really durable, and is at a good price, I think was the right decision at the time. I think the problem is that the world has changed. So nowadays, this may not be enough anymore, because a lot of devices have become lifestyle devices. So now the focus is more on the failure than on the success. So it's really a matter of sort of balancing the two when you make that trade-off. But I also would underline what Martha just said in terms of You don't want to use your core competence. That it's very, very important to keep a core competence. So if you're very, very good in doing something durable at a good price, by any means, keep that. But in addition, maybe you want to add some features as well. And let me give you an example from Samsung. Okay, I gave a talk at Samsung 3-4 years ago, which resulted ultimately in some project and some case writing and so on, where they hired me to give a talk on how Samsung can become a love brand. A love brand. When I first got, and they gave me the title of the presentation. They said, Professor Schmidt, the title of the presentation has to be, how can Samsung become a love brand? I thought that's a joke. I mean, this is a brand that had made major inroads, had been improving tremendously, but was certainly not in the league of Apple. Right? As recently as 5 years ago. It's not in the league of Apple. Because Apple was the lifestyle brand that everybody loved, it was cool and all of this. And Samsung was not like this. It was at best still seen as copying some of the products by Apple, but not seen as successful. Now fast forward 5 years, I think I was wrong. Because Samsung now is a lifestyle product. They are doing lifestyle campaigns. So I was wrong. But they are doing it, I would argue, slightly differently from Apple. And that's because of their core advantage. They are not a company from California, as Apple always stresses on its products. They are not a company from the 60s, you know, flower power and freedom, and I could do whatever I want. They're not American. They're a Korean company. I mean, they made it in a major way during times when South Korea was more like North Korea than it is now, right? So it's a very, very different company. And I think they understand that. As they become a lifestyle company, they are, I think, cool, like Apple, but in a technological sense. They have the latest technologies. But they're not cool in this American coolness, hippie sense. So, my point of all of this is, you need to keep your core competence, but you can tweak it. You can go in new directions. But you do not want to lose if you are seen as reliable and a good price, and that is your strength. Don't lose this. But you may want to add a few things that are going in the lifestyle direction. And the question is, what should you add? And that is a matter of consumer insight, right? You need to understand your consumers in order to know what to add in addition to the core competence that you currently have.
石先生，我还是要请您分享一下您的心里话哈，就是因为您是经营企业，所以如果有任何在企业内的失败，就是一个成本。虽然我们都可以告诉自己失败为成功之母啊，然后可以讲一些很好听的话，可是您心里怎么告诉自己说容忍部署的失败，或者容忍一个投资案的失败，怎么让大家就是可不可以分享一下您心里的想法？
Maybe I should talking about in the Asia culture actually we pay the lesson fee for them. 为员工交学费 we pay all the employee their lesson cost. We just like to make sure they can learn from that. And I remember in 1989 when I talking about high-tech island, in that article I developed a very simple formula about competitiveness. Is value over the cost. So the cost, if you reduce the cost, always enhance your competitiveness. So you have to keep that. But unfortunately, when you successful, then the costs are going to up because wages are going to up. Working time will reduce. Environmental protection have to restrict. So that have cost way up. The good things in that time I'm talking about the value enhanced in Taiwan relative is behind. So they have a big room to improve. Means Taiwan have a great opportunity because in the past we don't pay attention on value, but we already very competitive. So we have a big, future. So in that article, I also mentioned about you have to pay attention about the value and the cost in 6 aspects, 6面向 tangible, intangible, direct, indirect, and the current or now and the future. So these 6 aspects you have to pay attention. You were talking about the value. Value is current tangible loss and now current tangible direct impact. But if you can learn that lesson, they will create the value indirect for the future success and get the intangible lesson and the good for the future. So if you consider the value is a portion of your strategic investment, it's an investment, try to create a value, but unfortunately the capitalism system I call is half blind, 半盲 value half blind. You only see the 3 aspects, forget about another important 3 aspects. The balance of the 6 aspects is very important in order to continue make good progress, sustainable making progress is very important. So this actually I am belief. This is my core value or basic belief. So to me, it's easier, but just like easy depends on. I am spend all my effort, but I am not convinced all of my colleagues to support me. That because they have to face the short-term pressure, tangible result, direct result. That's current problem. So that's the real pressure. But I try to release for them. But unfortunately, the peer competition always looking on 3 aspects only. That's my problem. That is a cultural problem. And my approach is I talk and talk. I am hoping 30, 50 years later, this can change. This is not culture in Silicon Valley. We learn. It's different. But in high tech, I think compared to traditional industry, I think we shoot halfway to the California or Boston.
I think that in Silicon Valley there is an acceptance that there are going to be changes in the pathway of an innovation or a new idea. And in fact, the rule of thumb is that if you have an idea that you think might be a product or a new business, it's likely to change 6 times before it makes it. So expect change.
谢谢。我这边特别再跟各位说明一下，如果各位有注意到的话，应该发现最近是现在在媒体上一直在强调那个半盲文化跟6面向这件事哈，大力在推广这样的一个概念，就怎么样我们去注意另外3个面向，可以看得更远，然后多看一些隐形的价值和一些就是我们不要只注意到眼下哈立即直接的一些损失。那这个部分其实在我们包括从昨天晚上的晚餐一直到今天早上大家的讨论哈，我们自己内部讨论都发现说，跟Silicon Valley 那边他们在乎的事情真的是不太一样。我们在台湾还是比较看的是当下立刻的一些就是报酬率哈，那他们真的是比较勇敢的去接受一些不见得立刻会发生，甚至可能最后那个效果不见得好处发生在自己身上，他们都愿意投资。那这个是为什么刚才施先生说我们还有一段路要走。